Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our podcast.
Today we're covering another MCU movie, Thor. Just Thor.
Mighty Thor! After wanting to start a war against the frost giants, mighty warrior and Prince of Asgard, Thor, is banished by his father to Earth until he's worthy to wield his hammer again. Captain America's worthy. But when Loki threatens to destroy the planet after learning his true origins, Thor must become a true hero to stop his brother. But
before we start, be sure to like, subscribe, notification bell updates on future podcasts and Little Pause videos.
Yes, this is one of the earlier MCU movies.
Yes, back when it was only Phase 1.
And back when Kenneth Branagh really made a good movie.
Yes.
This was done
so
very
an
well.
origin movie.
It's one of the favorites.
An origin movie that was supposed to be an origin movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny when you watch it now, it still holds up because now you've seen how Thor's character is going to end with the upcoming movie Thor: Love and Thunder. So now, watching this again, see how he started, it's just like there's been a complete 180. Everything about this movie and how Asgard was set up is like basically gone. Asgard itself is gone. His hammer's gone. Right. His hammer's gone. His father's gone. His mother's gone. His brother you think is gone and he's not.
He lost Disney Plus.
Right. He got an axe and gave it away. His kingdom's gone. He lost all sort of masculinity he had left in him in terms of a muscle and
He's
became
now the
Big
Big
Lebowski. Yeah, and now it's like, okay, here, you take it, I'm done. I'm going to go in space and party. And it's like, what the heck happened? Yeah, and it's like, oh man, what the heck happened to Asgard? All while the mighty have fallen.
It was almost a dissecting of the whole Thor franchise.
Right.
It started off with this strong movie that had a good story, that had him with his friends who were loyal, that had him meet Jane, and that had Jane and her friend who were investigating the things that were going on in space, and saw the arrival of Thor to Earth, and that his heart was good and he wanted to protect the people of Earth. You had some action, you had the sibling rivalry with Loki, you got introduced to the doctor, I can't remember his name.
Eric, I think it's Selvig?
Yes. And everything about this movie was very well done. You had your humor that was needed, you had your seriousness, you had your action, you had your drama, you had your shipping with Jane and Thor. This was a great movie.
Yes, and it's back when they had a lot more darker storytelling that was actually for the theme of the film, because it was going for more, it was the aesthetic for it. It had its funny moments, like he said he wants a steed, and it's like they don't have one, okay, I'll pick the biggest dog, and it's like, you can't do that. And as you said, everything is set up, was really well done. It's like you were seeing the comics or their version of the lore come to life. And everyone played the roles really well. Chris Hemsworth is Thor, and who was playing the father again?
Anthony Hopkins.
Anthony Hopkins playing the dad, and Tom Hiddleston playing Loki, of course. And it really all fit well together and was setting up, of course, Captain America and later Avengers, seeing how these characters will, come to form the team.
And also the world was introduced to Chris Hemsworth. He wasn't well known here, but with this movie, he became a superstar. And you can see, yes, he was good looking, but he also had acting talent. And he really fit the character of Thor. You read Thor in comic books, you've seen him in animated movies. You really couldn't picture if they did a live action movie who would play him. Well, they hit the jackpot and they cast correctly with Hemsworth. He was perfect. He had that, besides physically looking like he could be Thor, he had the right balance of being able to do comedy and drama and action, and his performance seemed genuine. For me, for Thor and Thor 2,
The Dark World.
Yes, those to me are his best performances as his character. Oh, I'm not counting, of course, Endgame, Infinity War. I mean, within his own trilogy of movies. Or I should say, he's got 4 movies. But the first 2 to me are his best performance of his character within his own movie set.
And as you said, and that also brings up with the change in his character as the movies go on. Up until Age of Ultron, Thor's character is mainly the same. You can see him loosening up a little bit as the movies go on, but I don't think people were expecting such a change, a massive change when it got to Ragnarok.
Right.
All of Thor's theme and all of Thor's aesthetic and theme was completely changed because Chris Hemsworth said himself that by the time it got to Ragnarok, he was starting to get bored playing the character because he was such a regal prince and he was so serious and he was getting bored playing with him after all these years. So he asked to make some changes to his character, so he wanted to be more fun-loving, more reckless, like a party animal. He acted more like an Earth person rather than Asgardian. So
he acted like he was going through puberty late in life.
Right, and he liked to party and wreck things. He was really cool. Oh, hey, man, and he didn't take anything seriously. And then, so for a lot of people, including us, it was such like a it's so jarring to see the character be regal and serious. He had his own issues, but you knew there was still a heart there. There's still a heart there in this new version too, but it's hard to see. Yeah, he's more laid back. He's not as bright. He cares more about fighting and stuff more than actually being a prince. Eventually, he doesn't want to be prince anymore. He wants to do what he wants.
Well, I can see two things. One, there are quite a few people like Phoenix, and others we know that did like Ragnarok in that version of Thor, and that's okay. For me, and I think for you too, we just like the traditional version that we read in the comics, and that he was able to capture and portray perfectly.
Right.
And then the second thing is maybe they're trying to convey that because he's lost everything, Asgard, his family, and everything is gone, maybe this is his response or his attitude now that he really doesn't have anything left besides Jane.
Right.
And the Earth.
Right.
But he doesn't seem so interested in protecting the Earth as much, which I think really was something that we weren't expecting.
Right. And now with, Love and Thunder coming out in 2022, and, the mantle will be passed down to Jane herself, she will become the new Thor to appropriate with the comics where she got the hammer because of her condition, which we actually didn't know was actually originally a short story, a one-shot, and was eventually evolved into being canon in the comics, which is why you end up having a female play Thor temporarily. So now they're bringing that to the MCU, so now we'll get to see how it went from this movie where he was first given the hammer and the helmet and the throne, all the way to now with him giving away the hammer. So maybe perhaps she is worthy. We'll see how she's worthy in this new movie.
It'll be interesting to see because physically she's the opposite of him. She's very tiny. She's not muscled. She doesn't look like Thor. She's not blonde and looking very Nordic. And as you did mention, she's very intelligent. She's very strong, as we saw in the first movie. So it's going to be interesting to see how they play the two opposites and make it where you can see her having the mantle, having Mjolnir, and going, yes, I love this.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see how they're going to make that work.
Yeah, because the only other person I know they have, besides, of course, for the MCU, you had Captain America.
Yes.
And you had Vision. And that was pretty much it. And then outside of that, the only one that really came to mind that reason he had a hammer was Better Ray Bill, where he was actually worthy. He had his powers, and he was so well with it, he was able to keep a segment of powers with his own hammer. So this will be very interesting to see, and still going back to this movie, it's still very awesome to watch, how this character came about, and the music, the action, and everything, and it's slowly building up the MCU.
It's another perfect Marvel movie.
Right.
Absolutely. So we know you've seen this, guys. Let us know what you think in the comments below, and for some reason you haven't seen it, you've got to. Again, this is one of the best Marvel movies made. It's perfection from beginning to end, casting and everything. And are you excited about Thor: Love and Thunder that's coming out hopefully next year?
Right.
And are you excited about seeing someone else having the mantle, Thor willingly passing it on?
Right.
Let us know what you think in the comments below.
And be sure to like, subscribe, and notifications for updates on future podcasts and more past videos.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much for watching. I'm Asgard Entertainment.
And I'm Mom Entertainments.
Have a fantastic day.
Peace. He is worthy.